Hey y'all, I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, but things have been a little wild in my neck of the woods. And so, since I'm out with Nooch on a little midday stroll, I thought I would use this opportunity after the car drives by to just share a little bit of what's been going on in my mind lately. I started this channel because after the car drives by, I wanted an opportunity to just get some of the stuff that is on my mind and in my heart, like, out. Sometimes I feel like I'm just so full of emotion that I need to get it out. Like it literally fills me up. I feel it around my heart. My stomach gets full. Like I get actually not hungry. I don't want to eat because I'm just so filled up with emotion. So I figured I would take a little bit of time after all these cars drive by to just get a few things off of my chest. All right, so I have been kind of struggling recently. I've had a lot going on at work, and I am not the type of person who enjoys feeling out of control. I like to be very much in control of my situation, and especially when it comes to work, I take a lot of pride in my work, probably too much. I probably put too much of my personal value into the work that I do, but I don't like feeling like I don't know what I'm doing. And there's been a lot of that recently. My team is short-staffed right now, so I'm trying to take on new responsibilities in addition to my current responsibilities, and it's just overwhelming sometimes, and whenever I'm also having very intense emotions, I really struggle to find the motivation to do the things that I need to do. So not only is it a lot of work, a lot of different work that I don't have experience with, I also am just struggling to find the inner strength to actually get it done. And that makes me feel even worse because then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be doing this work and I'm really struggling to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to do it. And that just makes me feel just even more despondent about it. So that has been a whole thing. But I mean, I'm meeting expectations according to my performance review, which is good. I would prefer to be meeting all and exceeding some expectations, but we doing our best right now. And I am less concerned with being fired than I feel like I was. So that's good. And I know that sounds kind of excessive to be worried about being fired because you're trying to learn something new or things don't always go perfectly. But I worked at a place where, actually, let me tell you this story real quick. So at my previous place of employment, I started off in one role as a project manager, and I did that for about 3 years. And then I moved over to the training division because truthfully, project management was not my passion. I was okay at it. I was able to get the job done, but it really felt like work. And so an opportunity to move to the training team, which I felt like was within my wheelhouse a little bit better, came up, and I decided to take it, and I loved it. I ended up doing the training role for over 10 years, so that's how much I enjoyed it. But I remember maybe a year or so after I moved over into training, I was teaching a class of internal employees, so not customer facing, just internal, and those tend to be a bit more casual. And I had made a comment. I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something to the effect of how the project management role just wasn't for me. I didn't like it. It wasn't something that I felt good about. And so I moved over to training. Well, someone in that class interpreted that my comment was disparaging the company. I was talking bad about the company that I worked at. And so they issued a complaint. I don't know who they issued it to, but I do know that eventually it ended up going all the way to HR. And I was pulled into a meeting with my manager and the lead of the training division. And during this meeting, they explained that someone said that I had made a comment that was disparaging the company. And if I was to be found making any other disparaging comments, I would be terminated. Now, I was blindsided by all of this. I had no idea that this complaint had been issued. And apparently, it had gone all the way up to HR. So this had happened over the course of weeks. And I was just finding out about it in that moment where I was essentially having my job threatened and saying, if you continue to make disparaging comments, then you will no longer work here. And so they told me that in the meeting, but what they didn't tell me is what I said. They did not tell me the comment that I made that was disparaging the company. And they also didn't tell me who said it, because I was interested to know that context. Please tell me specifically what I said so that way I can not say it again. And please let me know who said it so that way I can, reset expectations. I can apologize and I can let them know my intent and just reassure them that this isn't going to happen anymore. Neither of those pieces of information were provided to me. Even now, over a decade later and a year and a half since I've left that company, I still have no idea to this day what I said and who said it. But what I have never forgotten about that interaction is my job can be taken from me at any moment. And so that hopefully provides a little bit of insight into why I am so terrified about being fired. Because they threatened to fire me based on some piece of information from someone, and that really left an impression on me. I've never forgotten that. And I will say, for the remaining 10 plus years that I was at that company, I didn't say anything bad about them because I was worried that I was going to lose my job. Even if the criticism was valid and warranted, even if things were not the way that they were supposed to be, or promises were made that weren't kept, or someone said one thing but then did something different, I just kept my mouth shut because I knew if I was caught disparaging this company again, I wouldn't have a job. And financial security is really important to me. I watched my mom grow up as a single mother and have to work multiple jobs to make sure that the bills were paid. I myself, before I took that job at that company, was working 3 and sometimes 4 jobs just to make sure that my bills were paid. So staying employed was very important to me. And that, I think, is why I struggle so much with not feeling like I am always a top performer, a peak performer at work. Because I feel like if I am not perfect, if I am not 100% all the time, then they will fire me. And I understand that that is a kind of unreasonable expectation to have, but it is based in reality for me. And so some of those traumas, for lack of a better word, really warp how we perceive reality. And that is just one situation that I'm still trying to work through from that last job that really left an imprint on me. I'll say that. So I now realize this is almost 10 minutes. So if you've stuck through the whole thing, thanks. I really appreciate that. And I didn't intend this to be just a conversation about work, but that's kind of how it turned out. So I will just let you know shortly, I'm going to wrap this up, that I do have plans for this channel. I know it's been a while since I've posted, but I have plans. I really want to do this. I want to make this into something that I find cathartic and maybe other people find relatable. That is one of my goals. I want to provide content that makes people feel seen, like they're not alone, because I often feel unseen, and I very often feel alone in some of the struggles that I have. So I hope that this channel will be a place where people can come together, connect, and just be like regular folks hanging out. So I guess that's it. I'll work on to like a formal intro, and I have a whole list of topics that I wanted to cover and all that sort of stuff. But I at least wanted to check in, let you know that I'm not entirely MIA for the folks that end up watching this, and to tell you that I appreciate you being here. I really do. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm finally just getting up the courage to get it done. So for anybody who has watched this video or others, I really appreciate your support. It makes me feel like I am not by myself in this life, and hopefully I'll come up with new and interesting content for you. So I'll see you in the next one.